Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to United Weekly, a podcast brought to you by DC United Latest. I'm Santiago, and this is Olsen, and welcome to our very first episode of United Weekly. We're here to give you weekly updates, match breakdowns, news, transfer rumors, jersey leaks, and just a whole lot of energy from the black and red. Each episode will cover the most recent DC United match, dive into the latest club news and rumors, and we're going to answer your questions with a segment like we like to call the United Chat. And we're going to look ahead to what's next and our future games and how our season's going. We'll always keep it real with the highs, the lows, and the entire chaos of this season. Olsen, how are we feeling?
I am feeling amazing. This episode has been a long time coming. Me and Santiago have been working very hard to get this out for you guys. We really have. It's been a long time coming. Yeah, for sure. We're very excited again. It's our first time, so bear with us. Might not be perfect, but we're gonna try our best to make this an enjoyable experience for you guys. And yeah, let's get started. So first off, we want to recap this weekend's match against the LA Galaxy. DC United traveled to Carson and lost 2-1 at Dignity Health Sports Park. It was not the worst performance of the season, but definitely very lackluster. Santi, what are your thoughts?
Thoughts are, wasn't our best game, wasn't our worst game. We came out with a loss, but we have to kind of look at some positives on here. But as much as there are negatives, you have to look at a little of the positive side. To start off right at the gate, DC United looked shaky. The starting 11, I don't know if that was the best choice from our interim head coach, but again, we can't expect much from an interim head coach to we can't perform as well as I think we can. DC looked shaky at first. I think the Galaxy found a ton of space on the wings and they controlled most of the match. It felt like we couldn't clear out the lines. Our defense needs to do better. Um, but not the worst game that we've performed. We've definitely had some worse games, but not the best. Obviously, we could have come out with a win. I think we could have at least gone a tie, but we'll break that down a little bit more later. Substitutions. Olsen, what are your thoughts on the substitutions that were made?
I think they made a big impact, especially when Benteke came on. Obviously, Benteke, our best player. When he came on, you could instantly see a change in tempo. He wanted to get a result from this, and while he couldn't score a goal or anything, you could see he was hungry for the ball. I think that's the most I've seen him be that, I guess, eager to win the ball and make something happen since he's come back from his injury. I haven't really seen that sort of fight in a lot of the other games that he's
Mhm.
been in recently.
Yeah.
Um, so I like that. I also liked when Randall Leao came on. I think he's been pretty underrated this season. He doesn't get the credit he deserves. I think he's a good crosser. He's able to get balls into the box as well. He's got good footwork as well. He made a good impact on the wing. And another one I would like to talk about, Brandon Cervena came on. He played all right. Missed that sitter. Professional soccer player, you got to score that. What are your thoughts on it, Santi?
Like you said, you got to score that. That's a wide open. That's a wide open goal. You have to score that. Um, Everyone makes mistakes. I'm not hating on him for missing it. He should have scored that goal. Um, but again, like you said, professional soccer player, you have to make that shot. Um, Talking about Randall Leao, I think this was a glimpse of a little glimpse to the Randall Leao that played for Nashville. That the star from Nashville, you know how he used to play. And obviously everything changed after he had that injury, right? So and it's normal. Injuries are just what happens in the sport, and some injuries just ruin a player's way of playing. I'm not saying that he's ruined. I'm saying that he's getting back to that level that he knows that he can get to, and that we know that he can get to because we saw it when he played for Nashville. So I think definitely solid from him. I think it was a good performance. Definitely a lot of room to grow. Uh, Christian Benteke, like you said, Olsen, I haven't seen him this hungry in a long time. This is a different Christian Benteke that we saw. Um, and again, it's just a little start of something. Maybe he's going back to the to his old ways, you know. But definitely a game that we kind of have to put in our rearview mirror and we have to focus on what's ahead. So, something that we're going to be doing on United Weekly is after every match breakdown that we go through of the most recent match, we're going to be giving a rating throughout the entire team. We're going to give our rating 10 from 1 to 10, 10 being the best, 1 being the worst performance. And then we're going to be giving you the player of the match brought to you by DC United Latest. So, Olsen, let's start off with you. What would you give your match rating to?
I would give it a 5 out of 10. I don't think it was our worst performance of the season, but it definitely wasn't our best. We got off to a very shaky start. Honestly, after seeing that first half, I didn't think we had a chance. So that's the only reason why I give it a 5 is that we fought at the end. But it's very disappointing that we can't play like that throughout the entire match.
So I definitely agree with your match rating, Olsen. I'll definitely also give it a 5 as well. Um, I think we could have done a lot better. I think we should have done a lot better, and obviously it wasn't our worst performance. Um, at the end of the day, we should have gotten a win out of that, or at least a tie. I don't think we deserved. We shouldn't have gone the loss, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I
Uh,
agree with you there.
yeah. So now I'm going to give you the star of the match or the player of the match, brought to you by DC United Latest. My player of the match, I'm going to give it to the goal scorer, the Brazilian magician, Gabriel Pirani. I think that goal is a textbook goal. Nothing crazy, but it's still a goal is a goal. And that's what I want to see ultimately from Gabriel Pirani. That's that's what I want to see starting from now on to the rest of the season, rest of his time at DC United. Because he can be a great player. He has that potential, and I think we're getting those glimpses of it starting from last game. He scored that screamer, and he scored 2 matches in a row. So I think it's a good start for Gabriel Pirani. Austin, who would you give your player of the match to?
Yeah, I was going to give it to Pirani, but I have to say somebody different since you said Pirani. I'm going to say the man who got the assist, Joao Peglao. I think that was a brilliant ball in behind, and he wasn't at his best the whole game, but he was solid. Um, yeah, he's an underrated player. I really like him. People hate on him, but I think he can definitely be part of our future.
No, I definitely agree with you. That's something that we've been talking about since the beginning of the season. Since seeing that Kansas City match up, he brings a different level of play. He has that passion, and I like to see that passion on the field. And some players, you just don't see that passion as much as
Mm-hmm.
you do with
Yeah.
Big Lau.
Yeah, it's very rare to see that on this team nowadays. There's not a lot of players who fight like that, like
Mm-hmm.
he does.
And I think we're seeing glimpses. Like I think glimpse is going to be. I'm saying that word a lot, but that's ultimately what I think we saw. I don't know if you agree with me, but this team has potential to be good. We just need
Absolutely.
Yeah, we just need to keep working hard, and the team needs to keep working hard together so we can get to that potential because we have a lot of potential players. We have Mati Peltola, who has high potential. We have Jose Kojima. We have Gabriel Pirani, Joao Peglao. Um, we have who else? We have David Schnegg. Um, so all those players, we can be really good. We just need to keep working hard and keep doing what need to do something different, I think. And
Yeah.
we'll talk about this later. I think definitely with a new coach, it will bring a new level of seriousness, a new vibe into the rest of the season. But anyways, let's move on to our next segment. Our next segment we want to talk about is Troy Lesesne has been fired by DC United after the terrible loss to Nashville in the US Open Cup. Olsen, what are your thoughts on all of this?
I definitely say I'm not surprised, but I'm disappointed. I did like Troy. He might not have had a lot of experience, but I think he was a good fit for us. Um, I think, he wasn't given the best team. He can only do so much with it. But I'm not saying it's a good decision or a bad decision, but I think he should have at least been given until the end of the season. That's what I think. But again, I think the Open Cup, I think everybody knew, I think beforehand that the Open Cup was basically his job. That quarterfinal determined whether or not he was going to stay.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not my favorite decision, but I also don't mind it.
So yeah, Olsen, I definitely agree with you on how the Troy Lesesne firing went down. I don't know if I would have done it right away. I think I would have maybe let him finish out the season, but ownership had a different idea. Uh, I think Troy Lesesne was given a bad hand, and he wasn't dealt with the best situation. It was a very difficult situation to be able to come on top, and I appreciate him for taking the challenge and for working with the team. I think a lot of reports came out that the locker room loves Troy Lesesne. I know some fans love Troy Lesesne, some fans feel differently. Um, some fans think that Troy Lesesne's firing will change how we play, and I hope so. I hope we can if our new coach can bring in wins, that's working for it. But I think it goes into a different aspect of the team that needs to change, and we'll talk about that later. But I think definitely something in the ownership needs to change to be able to be a better team. Like we can see it, for example, we can talk about the Washington Commanders. They have the best ownership and they were struggling. And as soon as they decided to sell the team, the new ownerships came in, new coaching staff, new refresh, and look at them, they made the playoffs, right? So I'm not saying that that's the exact scenario that we're in. I'm just saying that that's just an example of how changing of ownership can change the play and how the team performs, right?
Yeah,
What do you?
definitely.
Yeah.
I think it's just renewed hope. So that's sort of how it was for the community. Even before they had that really good season, they still had a sort of hope. They had life back to the team again.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you could say
Definitely.
even before they even started that season. I think just a renewed hope and new sort of spark, so new energy to the team. It's a whole brand change. I think DC and I could definitely use something like that. It's been a long time since we felt something like that. Sort of, I guess. Maybe with Rooney and Acosta
Mm-hmm.
was the last time we felt something like that. But again, I've said it time and time again. I don't think anything with the team performance is going to change until the ownership does. Doesn't matter what coach you get. You can have Pep Guardiola. The team performance won't change drastically until the ownership does. That's my
Yeah.
sense, at least.
No, that's a good I think that's a good analogy of what your thought of the ownership, and I agree with you on that. So let's go on to our next segment. We're gonna be talking about some transfer news, transfer rumors, whether it's going out of the team or coming into the team. Let's start off with I want to start off with Fidel Barajas. Olsen, your thoughts on Fidel Barajas going back, returning to Chivas following the end of his loan spell?
I think he should have played more. Definitely, he was not given many opportunities to play, and he's a young player. He's got a lot of potential. He's coming up there in the Mexican national team. I think we should have played him more. He didn't get as many chances as he deserved. You
Yeah,
agree?
no, yeah, I agree with you. I feel like we're gonna agree a lot with some of these topics, just because what you're saying, Barajas didn't play, and that's one thing that I wish Troy did more. He put him in more, and who knows what was going on in the training ground. Maybe Barajas didn't even want to be here. I can't. I'm not saying that's what happened, but if a player doesn't want to be there, the coach isn't going to put him in. You know, but obviously that's just like a guess that what could be the reason why he wasn't playing. But I think he had a lot of potential. He's one of those players that didn't fit the system of Troy Lesesne,
Yeah.
where it was send it to Benteke. He's not as tall as Benteke. He doesn't have that aerial attack aspect,
Mm-hmm.
but he has the shot. He has the skill moves, to create and ultimately score a goal from outside the box if he really wanted to. Some stats of Fidel Barajas after joining DC United on loan. Barajas made 5 appearances across all competitions during his 6-month period with the club. He made his debut on the 83rd minute as a substitute in the draw of the 0-0 draw against CF Montreal on March 15th, 2025. He went on to make four total MLS appearances, with his most recent coming in as a substitute to the loss of Chicago. He featured in the fourth round of the 2025 Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup, playing 45 minutes in the win over Charleston Battery on May 6th. So ultimately, he didn't do much for when he played, but also you can't base off his 5 appearances, his 4 in the MLS side and 1 in U.S. Open Cup. You can't just base his not creating stats in those 5 matches, because he didn't ultimately get those that much playing time, right?
Yeah. I definitely agree. I think we all know he's got lots of potential. I think we definitely could have seen more out of him. And like you said, we don't know what was going on behind the scenes. Maybe he didn't even want to play for us, and he was just here because he was forced to.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes young players will have that mentality. I hope that wasn't his mentality, but at the same time, it doesn't really change much.
Yeah, no, definitely. One thing that I can kind of chime in on is seeing him in person at Audi Field when he was on the bench. He didn't seem the most eager and hungry to get on the field. Like he kind of just walked out there to training to warm ups. He was kind of
Yeah,
just doing his thing. He was
yeah,
still, yeah. He wasn't going crazy. He didn't have the energy. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So
That's,
maybe
that's
that is
another
just
thing to that's another thing to earn the spot. You have to want it.
you
You
have
have
to
to
want
want
this
it.
one.
You have to be eager and hungry to get that spot, especially as a young player like him. You gotta earn that spot. You can't just expect to be put over.
Hmm.
You know,
Well, going back to another transfer news, Gavin Turner has been loaned out to Chattanooga FC for the remainder of the 2025 season. I think this is a good move. He needs playing time. This is a youngster that has potential. Obviously, I can't say that his sky's the limit for him yet because I haven't seen much of him. But I think going to Chattanooga is a great move for him. I think that was a good decision by DC United to send him out there. And actually, I just saw that I think yesterday or a couple of days ago he scored an
yeah,
insane goal. That was a crazy goal to score. So he's definitely getting that experience that he needs, and we're seeing those like glimpses again, like the word that I've
mhm.
been saying, of that potential. So definitely a good move for him.
Yeah. I definitely like that. He's young, so I wouldn't want us to sort of waste his potential. I guess
Hmm.
wouldn't be wasting, but still, I think this is good for him to develop, and maybe once he comes back, who knows, he can be really good for us.
No, yeah, yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. Going on to the next transfer rumor. Here's a transfer rumor. This one's going out of the team. We have Aaron Herrera's good performance in the Gold Cup has caught the attention of multiple teams in Europe. One of those teams is Portuguese team SL Benfica. There's no official talks between player during the players' camp and the team, but it's still a rumor. What are your thoughts on this?
It would be sad to see him go. I think he's definitely a great player. Um, and we definitely don't deserve him. I don't think. Um, but yeah, I was proud to see his performance at the Gold Cup. I was watching the game. He did very good. And even though it would hurt to lose him, I think it would be nice to see him go to a team like that. I believe they're in the Champions League.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it'd be very nice to see a player like him go to Europe and I guess sort of be introduced to that style of play.
Yeah,
Um,
no, definitely. That if I'm thinking on the player side, if I'm thinking of what's best for Aaron Herrera, I would go. You know, um, that's Europe. That's Europe football. That's where the best soccer football is played, right? Um, and getting that Champions League soccer, man, that's really good. And I think it'd be a good move for him. Unfortunately, it would be leaving us and DC United. So I would miss him a lot. He's a great player. Like you
definitely,
said, we don't deserve him. Um, and he has a lot of potential. He has the sky's the limit for him, I think. And I think he's definitely proven that he's good enough to be able to play in Europe.
yeah, definitely.
Especially, yeah.
He's a great. He's a brick wall in the back line, but also he helps well in the midfield and the attack. So
Hmm.
when I like it when he plays sort of an inverted fullback where he's not at the back line all the time. He's also helping in the attack, but he's also able to get back when he needs.
Hmm.
Definitely one of my favorite DC United players over the last 2 seasons. It would be sad to see him go, but it'd also be nice to see. I guess one of our own. He's sort of grown here. I'd call him one of our own.
No, yeah, I would call him one of
To,
our
to
yeah.
go get some Champions League football.
Definitely.
Just to say that former DC United players playing in most prestigious competition in Europe. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. That would be pretty cool. Going on to our next transfer rumor, Patrick Cutrone. He's currently under contract with Serie A side Como, and he's been proposed to various MLS clubs. Among the interested clubs are DC United, New England Revolution, and Sporting Kansas City. Some stats for him. His current stats for Como are 33 games played, 7 goals, and 4 assists. Now, from what I've heard, Como is offering this player to various teams because they're trying to bring in more of a young attacking core. So I think Cutrone is on the old. He's definitely on the older side. So bring in more of a veteran status into the team, and sort of that veteran style of play, and he brings that European play. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would like to see somebody of his play style come to us. I think it would be nice for a change because we have definitely been feeding the ball towards Benteke. To have another threat up top like that would be very good for us. Because Benteke, he's good in the air and he's a good finisher, but he won't do anything unless you get the ball to him. Cutrone, I think, will make plays himself. And obviously, no discredit to Benteke. He's done wonders for us. I mean, I don't know what we'd do if we didn't have him. But I think
No,
it'd be
no.
good to have somebody like Cutrone who can make those plays himself and be aggressive and try to win the ball back. Sort of, he's and it's just that European style. That's what we've been needing for a long time.
Yeah. Definitely, if he comes into the team, I think it'd be a great matchup with Benteke. Having Benteke in the box with the aerial attack and having Controni
Yeah,
creating those opportunities and ultimately scoring goals that are not headers, right?
yeah,
So
but best of both worlds, you could say.
yeah, best of both worlds. Okay, going on to our next transfer rumor. This rumor comes back dating from June 22nd, so it's a little late older. But Mender Garcia, who's currently 26, he used to play for Minnesota United. He's a forward. He's currently playing for Independiente Medellin, a team in Colombia. He is set to leave the club at the end of the month. And DC United are among the clubs showing interest in Mender Garcia. Another club that is showing interest is Chicago Fire. What are your thoughts on this?
Um, he's made 19 appearances, only got one goal, so I'm not sure. Not sure how he'd fit into our team. Definitely not like, oh yeah, I really want this guy. But either way, it's South American player. He could still be good. Um, I definitely think that he could be good. Again, we have to see. Once if he gets here, I can't really say anything about him yet, just because the stats aren't there
Stats
for
aren't there,
him.
you're right. Yeah, going back to it, I think I was looking at the stats for when he played at Minnesota. Not the best stats, not the worst. Um, do I think that we need him? No,
No, I wouldn't say so.
I don't think I don't think we need him. I think we could use more of a Patrick Cutrone player. I think I'd rather I if I had to choose, I'd definitely choose him.
Yeah,
But I mean, it doesn't hurt to have him come on the team.
yeah. I mean,
And
we
who
could we
knows?
could we could use anybody at this point.
Hmm. Definitely. And who knows? He could be really good for us. He could, just like you said, Olsen, the stats aren't there. So like we can't really be like, yes, we need him.
Mhm.
Because the stats aren't there. Nothing, it doesn't show. But you know what I mean? It's the goal scoring ability. It doesn't show the assist. It's just not there. But I definitely want to catch some of his highlights and look at some of his past games to see how he plays, and maybe he'll fit into the DC United style of play, right? Okay, going on to our next transfer, we have Griffin Yao. An offer has been submitted by DC United to Westerlo to Griffin Yao. DC United is trying to see if they can get a good deal on Griffin Yao since they have a 35% sell-on clause. What are your thoughts on Mr. Griffin Yao coming back to Audi Field?
I would love to see him back. I miss him. I miss him. He's gone too soon.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Definitely. Now that he's developed and he's pretty good. I'm not exactly sure what his stats are, but I think he has done well. I think he's in the Belgian Pro League, isn't he? That's the team.
No, yeah, definitely a good player. He's been performing really well on the team that he's currently on. I think he'd be a great help to DC United. Um, I think that he'll ultimately he could be a star on the team. in my opinion. He could be a star,
Yeah,
depending on
absolutely.
if he's performing this way in the Belgian on his team, and he will ultimately do really well for us. Hopefully, that's the case, right? Now you never know; it's a different league, but he grew up with this league. He grew up playing in this league. That's how he first started, so he knows how this league is played. So definitely, I think it's a good signing. Do we need him? I'll take him. Yes, we
Yes,
should. We should.
absolutely. Yeah.
I think we
Bring him
definitely need
back
him.
home. Why not?
Definitely bring him back home. Okay, here is our last transfer rumor as a player. Luquinas, I think that's how you say his name. Sorry if I said it wrong. He negotiated a return to the MLS with DC United. He even spoke with ex-DC United coach Troy Lesesne. While Lesesne was still the coach for DC United, however, the departure of Troy Lesesne has actually cooled down negotiations. So who knows? He was kind of just left there when Troy left. So I think he's a good player. He played for the New York Red Bulls. Um, so and he did pretty decent there. And now he's playing in Europe, I believe. So definitely a good player. Comes with experience, but doesn't look so good on the negotiation side,
Yeah.
right? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I like to see him come here. He was definitely good when he had his time at the New York Red Bulls. Um, and yeah, while it might not happen, it's still be nice to have a player like him. We'll have to see if anything happens with the new coach, because I know he spoke with Troy, but now Troy is no longer at the club.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have to see if any talks happen with the new guy whenever he is announced to DC United. I believe his
Yeah,
name is
no.
René Weiler.
Yep.
Switzerland.
Actually, why not? Let's get into that. Let's get
Yeah,
into the DC United are set to hire Swiss coach René Weiler to replace Troy Lesesne. What are your thoughts on this?
I think he's got good experience. He can sort of bring that European style of play over to the black and red.
Mm-hmm.
He's had one thing I noticed is that despite he's had good times, but he's had good seasons, but I noticed a lot of short spells. Like he hasn't coached a team for more than I believe 3 years, something like that. And he has had good records with those teams, and most recently with Servette FC, I believe I'm pronouncing that right. But he was just their coach for about just a little over a year, then went to sporting director. He won 24 games with them at his time at coach, drew 20, lost 14. And I believe he got to the Conference League. That would definitely be a good pickup. Like he's got experience. The one thing with Troy is that he did not have experience. He only, he coached a USL team. Was I think he was like assistant or something for the Red Bulls.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it would be good to have somebody like that. Bring
Yeah.
again, European style. It's what we need.
Mm-hmm. Definitely agree with you there. I don't honestly. You covered everything that I was going to say about that signing. About the coach. I think he could be very good for us. I think that it's going to take time for everyone to get used to it, and no official, no official news has come out yet that he is the official head coach of DC United. But as soon as that news does come out, or if it's another person, you can find it on the DC United latest. Are you a fan of the podcast? Well, go ahead and check us out on Instagram at DC United Latest, where you can find out the latest and fastest information and news on anything having to do with the black and red. Everything will be posted on there first, and we'll cover that on the podcast when the episodes come out every Wednesday.
If you like our page and would like to support the podcast, check out the DC United Latest merchandise store, which is posted on our Instagram and the podcast YouTube page. You can find classic designs like the one currently on the screen. All orders are very much appreciated by Santiago.
If you're also interested, if you like this flag that's right behind me, you can go ahead and check that out at our merch store. Link in the bio as well. Going on to our next segment, the DC United third kit is set to release on July 16th. Olsen, are you excited about this?
Definitely. They've built a lot of hype around it. I'm not sure whether or not we should expect a throwback kit. They've been posting a lot of things on Instagram about it, and it shows old clips back from '96, back when we were the dynasty sort of.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't be surprised. I would like it if we brought back that kit with the three stripes across the jersey. That'd be nice.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
I am very excited to see. It's been a long time since MLS had third kits. I remember the one. It was, I forget what year, but it was all red with the Volkswagen sponsor. That might be my favorite all time kit of DC United. So yeah, definitely very excited. It's supposed to be white with some red accents. So yeah, definitely. Like I said, DC United's done good at building the hype around it.
Definitely. So it's gonna be some. So I can confirm that it is gonna. It's gonna. We can confirm that it is gonna be a white kit with black red, and it seems like there might be some yellow in the kit.
Okay.
I've seen some pictures and some pictures of some hats that are being sold with the colorway, and there's a little bit of yellow in it, and it looks pretty good. Unfortunately, no leaks have been shown for the DC United one. A lot of leaks have shown for Seattle Sounders, Minnesota, and others, but unfortunately, I was not able to get any leaks for the DC United one, so they've been keeping that one pretty tight under wraps. Um, Speaking of your favorite kit, the DC United latest Instagram account will be posting very soon something we like to call the kit breakdown. So it will be sort of where you guys, the fans, get to decide which kit is your favorite kit. So we'll be doing it sort of bracket style. Everything will be randomized where everyone will choose what kit is going against each other and which one wins. And at the end of the competition, the kit with the most amount of the kit that wins will be given away from us to you guys. So go ahead and check that out soon. I'm not 100% sure when it'll be posted, but it'll be posted very soon. Okay. Speaking more on that kit, definitely going to be a throwback kit. I can confirm that it's going to be a throwback kit, considering that it's going how all the other kits have been doing it. So I'm excited. I'm definitely am. It's coming up in a couple days. So as soon as that kit comes out, go ahead and check out the Instagram. It'll be on there. Um, no official news of what it looks like. Like I said, no leaks. They've been holding it down, keeping it under wraps, which a little annoying because I've been trying really hard to get in there and trying to get in trying to get inside, but not possible.
All right, the next thing we are going to cover is DC United's upcoming matches. First off, they travel to Charlotte for a midweek clash against Charlotte FC, who are currently ninth in the MLS table, the last playoff spot. And then 3 days later, we head to Lower.com Field in Columbus to face the Columbus Crew. Both very good size. Columbus is in fourth, I believe, so very solid team. They just beat FC Cincinnati over the weekend in that comeback 4-2. So both will be pretty difficult games for us. Honestly, I feel like at this point any game is difficult for us. But Santi, what are your thoughts? How do you think DC United is going to do?
Definitely going to be a tough one. Columbus going to be very difficult to get a win out of there. So I'm hoping for at least a tie. If we can get a win, that'd be amazing, and that'd be a good win. Hopefully, we can get a win out of Charlotte. Again, how the way we've been playing, it's not looking too great, but I'm trying to stay optimistic as possible. I think we can at least. My prediction will be that we can maybe get a tie out of Charlotte, and I predict that we will lose against Columbus.
Yeah, I think Columbus. I think the quality will just outmatch us. You know, we can have the fight. We'll have the heart. But at the end of the day, it's just the quality difference. You can tell with the way they play their football, just on a completely different level than us. And I think, and like you said, I think we have a good chance in Charlotte. They haven't been at their best recently, despite having Wilfred Zaha and everybody. I think we'll have a chance there. We can bring some fight. See, sometimes on the right day, we can be good against teams like that.
Yeah,
But
I
again,
absolutely agree.
both will be very difficult. Um, I think I'm optimistic about Charlotte. Again, I've got a good feeling about that. But I think I don't see a chance of us doing anything in Columbus.
Yeah, no, I agree. Going on to the next match on July 26th, we'll be playing against DC United will be playing against Austin FC at Audi Field. Olsen, what are your thoughts on the Austin FC match? What do you think we're gonna get out of that?
I think again, it will be a tough task. Not Austin is ninth in the MLS table right now, so last playoff spot in the Western Conference. We'll be at home, so that's always good. I'm gonna say we win that game. Doesn't I don't think it, regardless of what happens against Charlotte and Columbus, I'm gonna say we would beat Austin. I'll say 3-2. I think it's gonna be close. Obviously, it's way too, it's still long ways ahead.
Yeah.
About 2 weeks. Um, but I think we'll win that game. I got a good feeling about it. I think it's gonna be similar to last year where we had that late playoff push. I don't think we'll get as close as we did this time, but I definitely think we have a chance at making a push like we did last year. Because last year, if you remember, we were dead last in the table, I believe, at this time. Wooden spoon, looking to
Yeah.
be like seasons like 2022 and 2017 again.
Mm-hmm.
But we made that push to the end. We didn't make the playoffs. We lost it on the last day, but we definitely made a fight. And I think we can do something like that again this year. I'm not completely in doubt. Obviously, this squad is much more worse than last year's squad, I will say. But I think we can make a late push. I'm going to say Austin is the start of that, I guess, sort of push. We might not get as close as we did, but I think we'll put up a fight to make the
Okay.
playoffs.
Yeah, no, I like that. I like that. I like the being optimistic is good. I definitely think that we can win against Austin, and if I'm being honest, I think we can win against Charlotte. I predicted a tie just to stay realistic and
Yeah.
just with our current form. But who knows? Maybe the team will come back, will come out of nowhere and decide to start playing really well, a really good football. So yeah, my prediction will be tie against Charlotte, loss against Columbus, and I'm gonna go with you. I'm gonna go with a win from Austin FC. Um, some some things that I would like to see is I'd like to see that same Benteke that we saw against LA Galaxy, just
Yeah.
that hunger and wanting to score. Another one I would love to see Gabriel Pirani keep on form, man, keep on scoring those goals. That's the only way we're going to be able to win games if we
Yeah,
score
that's
goals.
a big thing with Pirani's consistency. He scored a lot of bangers this year, but he has not been his best at times. And
Yeah,
well, obviously, every player has a bad slump sometimes. I still think that inconsistency is something that is going to be a big deal for him because you see those breakout moments, and then you're like, wow, he doesn't do that too often. But again, I still think at the current moment, I think he's our best player. But we'll have
just
to
needs
see.
to.
I still see so much potential in him. He fits the squad very well. I really hope we can see more out of him. He's been good this year, but
He's
again,
been yeah.
inconsistent. I think he either has a really good performance where he scores bangers like he did against Nashville, like he did against Cincinnati and New England, or he just has a complete up stinker and does nothing.
Yeah, no, I fully agree with you. If Pirani has the consistency, we can be a great team. We can be better. Um, I don't know about like amazing, great. Sorry, but I think we can definitely be better with Pirani being
Yeah,
consistent and scoring those goals and creating those chances. And I think on top of that, also another consistency is Christian Benteke. He's been dealing with that ankle injury, and that's tough to stay consistent with an ankle injury.
yeah,
It's tough to keep the same level.
very tough, especially as he's getting older. It's going to be more difficult to recover from that as time continues going. And I think we've already noticed that since he's come back. He hasn't been the same, even since last year. He hasn't been the same this year.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate because Benteke was very good for us last year, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, we just didn't have the team to back him up with it, right?
Yeah.
So he
I
could
think
only
if we,
do
if
so
we
much.
had yeah, if we had a better team last year, he could have scored 30 some goals.
Yeah, definitely. Um, Going on to what we spoke about our score predictions. What would be your preferred starting 11 for DC United at the moment?
Good question. First off, I'm going to go with the front line. I would like to see, obviously, Benteke, um, and then Peglau.
Yeah.
And then I wouldn't mind seeing Pirani on the wing. He's played there a few times. I think he's done well. I'm not sure. Actually, no, I changed my mind. I would like to start Randall Leal on the right side. And then Pirani in the midfield. I would like to see, he hasn't been his best recently, but Boris Enau. I like him. And then Schnegg, Herrera. And in the back line, Bartlett, Peltola, and Connor Antley. That would be my first starting 11 for the next match.
Okay, yeah, no, I think that's a good starting lineup. My starting lineup's gonna be kind of the same, a little bit different. I'm gonna have Luis Barraza starting in goal. I'm gonna have
Oops.
I'm gonna have Kai Rouse
Oh yeah,
with.
I completely forgot about Rouse. Hold on, I'll switch him for Peltola, but you go on.
Yeah, it's all good. I'm gonna have Kai Rouse, Lucas Bartlett, and Aaron Herrera, and the three back. I'm gonna do a 3-4-3. David Schnegg is gonna be my left wing back with Connor Antley as my right wing back. I'm gonna put in Mati Peltola in for more of a center defensive mid area. Then I'm gonna put Jose Kojima instead of I think you said Boris now, right? I'll put Boris Jose Kojima. I think he gives that creating chance. He has that
Yeah,
flair.
he does have a lot of creativity.
Yeah,
I forgot to mention him too, but I'll stick with my current 11.
yeah. So I think he has a lot of creativity. I think he has a lot of he has a good vision of the field. He can see the field really well. I think it just comes down to execution, and with time, he'll ultimately be better at that. But I'm going to give him that starting spot. I'm going to have Gabriel Pirani on the right with Christian Benteke in the middle and Joao Peglau on the left. Now, this lineup is very similar to the lineup that we actually played against Cincinnati, where we beat FC Cincinnati 2-1. So
I still don't know how we did that and then lost to Chicago 7-1 just a week later.
yeah, no, definitely.
And
That,
I believe that when we beat them, that was their first loss at home of the entire season.
mhm.
It was to us out of all people.
I think you're right on that, definitely. But yeah, that is my starting lineup for that's my preferred starting lineup. Going on to our next segment, we like to call it United Chat. United Chat is where you guys, the fans, get to ask us questions and we answer them live on the United Weekly podcast. The ways that you can ask us these questions, you can send us a personal DM, or you can wait to a couple days before the episode is filmed. We will post on our story to send us questions, and you can do it through there. Olsen, you ready to get us started?
Yes. One question from an anonymous source asks, flop of the season so far versus our best player for DC
Flop of the
United.
season or best player? That's a good question. I think our best player as of right now is Gabriel Pirani. I'm gonna have to
Yes.
that'd be my guy. Who I'd say.
Yeah, that is who I'd say as well. Now for flop of the season, who have you got? I think a lot of them have been poor, but who would you say is the biggest? I guess maybe somebody who had the biggest expectations
I would say
and
okay. I have one.
didn't perform well.
Yeah. Okay. I have a good one. The flop of the season. As much as I hate to say this, it's June.
Definitely.
I think June came in with a lot of hype, and I think Troy also built up that hype a lot. Um, and kind of hearing what Troy was saying in preseason interviews that he was doing really well and he's adapting really well, and we expected a lot from him. I think we expected a little too much from June. He is still really young, so I think that's who I'd give my flop of the season so far.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. I think mine would be Lucas Bartlett. Well, yes, he's a solid player. He has been very poor this season, and I haven't seen a lot of passion from him or like hunger. One instance that really got me was I believe it was against Chicago in the 7-1 loss. He lost the ball in the midfield, and Chicago was through. And he hardly tried to get back. He was just jogging. I mean, I didn't see sprinting, and I think that's what really got me frustrated with him. Like
Yeah,
done. Like I still see some potential in him. He's a solid defender, but I think he's been very poor this season.
I definitely agree. I think he was a lot better last season.
Yeah, definitely. With him and McVay were a good center back duo last year.
Yeah, definitely. I think he's been all right. I he just needs a little bit. He just needs to get. It's tough to be a DC United defender because the DC United defense is just we're just not that good. So we're getting attacked all the
Mm-hmm.
time.
Yeah, I
And
mean, yeah, you can't put all the blame on him.
yeah, exactly.
He's got to do better sometimes.
Yeah. But thank you for sending that question in. Again, reminder, if you want to send us a question, send it to us by DM at DC United Latest on Instagram. Or if you on the DC United Latest Instagram, you already follow us, you can check out our stories that we'll post a couple days before the episode is filmed, where we're asking you guys to send us questions. Going into our next question from George in RVA. Who is Olsen named after? I'm going to let Olsen answer this one.
The man himself, the legend, Ben Olsen, DC United, former DC United player and longtime coach, will forever be a legend at DC United. My dad was always a big fan of DC United. I've been there since 1996, and that's who I was named after, Ben Olsen.
There you go, Ben Olsen, the man himself. All right, Olsen, you want to send us our next question?
Yes. All right, our next question comes from another anonymous source. What do fans, or when do fans need to protest against management? That is, I guess, the ownership sort of is what he's trying to ask.
Yeah.
When and how do fans need to protest?
Well, I can tell you right now that there is actually a live petition being that has been made in protest to ask Levi to tell Levi to ask Levi to stand down from his owner role. If you guys want to check out the link to that, we can attach it to the link below on YouTube, and that will be the only place you'll find it. So if you guys want to check that out and sign the petition, you're more than welcome to. Like I said, right now it's happening. I would have done it now too. I think something needs to change, and if we want this team to succeed, something needs to change.
Yeah, definitely. I think going back, I believe I said this earlier, but I don't think the team's spirit or performance will change until the ownership does. You could have the best coaches and some of the best players, but I don't think anything's going to change until the ownership does. That's where it all starts, is the ownership.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. That's definitely. I agree with you on that. Going from our next question, coming from Zero Power 6561, they ask, "Do you think Levian will ever let us free?" I have a feeling we're going to get a lot of these questions are going to be about the ownership.
About the ownership. Yeah.
No, would be my answer. I don't think he will. He won't step down willingly, I don't think.
Yeah, he's going to need a big money offer.
Yeah, he's going to need a big money offer. The club is still making him money, so he's not going to leave. But who knows? Maybe the petition and the protest actually ends up working a little bit. But as of right now, I don't see that happening, unfortunately.
Yep.
All right, next question.
All right, one question from Houston FC News. What should have happened differently to seal a win against the LA Galaxy this past weekend? What are your thoughts, Santi?
Starting lineup, I would have maybe put in Benteke starting lineup, but if I didn't do that, I would make the subs a lot earlier.
Absolutely, yeah. I think the subs made a big impact, and I think we put them on a little earlier. We could have scored an equalizer. I think it was just too little, too late.
Yeah, I think that's honestly all I can really say. Subs should have come on earlier.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, here's a question coming from a person named Christoph.A.Mueller. Best player in the world and the best player in the MLS right now, excluding Messi.
Best player in the world?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Well, first I'll start off with best player in MLS. I'll have to say the current Golden Boot leader, Sam Sturridge. He's done wonders for Nashville.
Yeah.
What would you say is your top MLS player of the season? Would you agree, or would you say somebody else?
It's obviously Christian Benteke, man.
Of course.
Golden
Boot winner, defending Golden Boot winner.
Yeah, no, seriously, Sam Sturridge, definitely. So I would agree with you on that. He's after watching him play against us, he made us look like we're little kids, man. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's why I would say the best player in the MLS is right now, excluding Messi, obviously.
Yeah.
Best player in the world, Olsen. Who would you say your best player in the world is?
It's very, very vague. I think when we just watched the Club World Cup. Obviously PSG just lost the final to Chelsea.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can't not discredit Dembele. You have to put him up there with Dembele.
Definitely.
And then you've got Rafinha in Barcelona. I think those two were probably the best players of the last season. I don't think I can choose one. Obviously, Dembele won the Champions League, and he got to play in the Club World Cup, which Rafinha didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have to say one of those two. Do you have one specific? Yeah, obviously. Yeah, I know you're a Barca fan, so.
I'm a Barca fan, man. So See, Dembele has a special place in my heart because he played for Barcelona, and I feel
Yeah,
bad that how he left and how everything happened. But I'm happy for him that
absolutely.
he's succeeding.
Yeah.
Rafinha, that's my Barcelona guy. Another guy I'd like to mention, who I wouldn't say is the best in the world right now, but he will be. Lamine Yamal, definitely,
Absolutely, yeah.
definitely going to be
I
good.
had that. I had him in the back of my head too.
He just turned 18, and what
Mhm.
he's been doing for this past season, he was 17, and people are talking about
Absolutely.
him being on the list for winning
Ballon d'Or.
the Ballon d'Or.
Mhm.
Exactly. So, and that's kind of insane. He's 17 and
Yeah,
he's 18 now, but he's on that list. That's insane. So definitely one to watch. He's going to be great. He will be one of the best in the world. Right now, I think I'm going to give it to, as much as I want to say Rafinha, I think I'm going to give it to Ousmane Dembele.
yeah.
Because ultimately
See,
his team got it done in the Champions League.
I
Um,
was leaning towards Dembele is why I said I couldn't. I said I wasn't choosing, but I think I'm leaning towards Dembele.
yeah, I think I'm going to give
Just
it to
because of the
Dembele.
success, PSG winning the treble, quadruple, whatever it was, their first Champions League.
And unfortunately, they did just lose the Club World Cup to Chelsea. That was a tough loss, a tough watch, to be honest. I think Dembele wasn't able to show everything he could, but everyone has their off days. Um, Now, in terms of who I want to win the Ballon d'Or, I want Rafinha to win,
Yeah, of course.
but I think Dembele is the best player in the world right now. Speaking of who's in the running for the Ballon d'Or,
Yeah,
um,
absolutely.
another person that we can add on that list could be Mbappe. But Mbappe wasn't. He's been great recently. He hasn't when he first came on
Yeah.
to Real
Yeah,
Madrid.
he wasn't the best all season.
No, he wasn't the best all season. So I'm talking about full season wise. This past season, I would give it to Ousmane Dembele. Coming from next question, we have. Well, I can do multiple questions because we've already answered these. Coming from Josh or JSHMNTS Mints, what players have been linked to the club? A lot of players have been linked to the club. We've talked about Luquinhas. I think that's how you say it. Luquinhas has been linked to it. Cutrone has been linked. Mendez, and as well as Griffin Yao. So we spoke about those earlier in the podcast, but that's the answer to that. Transfer rumors. Another person, ZavDL_8. He also asked they also asked what transfer rumors we have. We went past that. Same players, just to shout out these people for, if you want to add a question, you can always get shouted out. Now, you don't have to be shouted out when you ask a question. If you'd like to be kept anonymous, you can just go ahead and let us know that. Um, Real Relax Tennis said any signings, none of right now. No new signings as of right now. We are still, we still have those rumors out there. I think the closest sign, the first sign, we're not going to get any player signings until we have a coach locked down. Okay, here's a question. We have a question from Luca.87653. Swansea City fans protested and forced Levine to sell. When will DC United protest? Um, yeah, kind of like another one of our questions that we've talked about. They're protesting as of right now. It's a petition.
Yeah,
Now, I don't know if the petition actually is going to do anything. I hope it catches the eyes of the owners, but we'll see. I think the time is now. This is the best time to do it.
yeah,
They've already fired the coach, and we're not doing so hot in the season, so time is now to get it done. Do you agree with me,
absolutely.
Olsen?
Yes, absolutely. I do agree with you. I think it's been changes been needed for a long time.
Yeah. All right. Also, why don't you ask one question, or why don't you tell us one question?
Okay. Okay. All right. We have a question from Diego Perez that asks, "New coach, same problem? What do you think, Santi?"
Now, I like this question. I really do, because it's a tough one to answer, right? Um, because I can give you both answers. I can say yes, and I can say no, and we ultimately will not know until that coach is placed into the team, right? I think the ownership is going to cause a lot of the reason why we're not performing well. We don't have, the ownership isn't helping us at all, right? But a new coach could bring a new vibe to the locker room, a refresh, a restart kind of sort of thing. So yeah, and it's a new style of football. I think we need. So you know what? I'm gonna say new coach and problem. No, I'm gonna say I'm gonna predict that if we get a good new coach, the team will hopefully. It's gonna take a while, but hopefully we'll progress and we'll be better.
Yeah, absolutely agree with you there. I think,
Yeah.
again, we've been looking at those European coaches. I think that style of play will be very good at DC United.
Definitely. All right. I have one more question for me. I have one more question on my end. This comes from Adrian Loves Pollo Campero. How that's a good username. How well will the DC United Academy coach do? It's another good question. I mean, we've seen how he did with we've seen how the team did with the LA Galaxy game.
Yeah,
So
that wasn't the worst game ever. I mean, could have been better, especially at the start. I
yeah,
think towards the end we saw some good, again, glimpses. We said that word a lot, glimpses
to
at the
say
end of the match.
to give you the easiest response that I can give you, Adrian, I think he'll do meh. I think meh is where I'm at. I think he's going to be mid.
Mm.
Not terrible, not great, but obviously I can't blame him. I'm not hating on him at all. I think that
Absolutely.
I'm sure he's a great coach. He works with he worked with the academy. I'm sure he's a great academy. He's good at the academy level. It's just a different style. He's just kind of thrown in here, so he wasn't really prepared. And you can only do so much with a team that just lost their head coach, right? So I think it's going to be mid.
I definitely would agree with you on that.
All right, yeah. Do you have any more questions, Olsen?
Um, no, none that I have seen.
Okay. Well, we'd like to Olsen and I would like to thank you guys for sending those questions in. Remember to send those questions in on the DC United Latest Instagram at DC United Latest. You can send us a DM through it. I promise I will take a look at it and I'll see it. Um, if and then as well as you can check out the our Instagram story before a couple days before the episode pops up. Please go ahead and ask. You can ask more than one question, just as long as it's kept within the within the limits of DC United and the black and red. That's the questions that we'll be answering regarding DC United, the ownership, and everything else. All right, going into our next segment, our last segment of the day. Thank you guys if you're still watching. Thank you guys for staying this long. We really appreciate you with our first episode. A quick one, Olsen. One question that I have for you: playoffs? Yes or no?
I'm going to say no.
No.
I mean, I think I said this earlier. We can make a late push. I don't think we're going to be anywhere close though. I think again, we've fallen too far behind. I think this time around, just to the point where it's not going to be enough. I think again, we can make a late push. We can win some games, but I don't think it's going to be enough to get up there.
Yeah, no, I definitely think it's going to be tough. As of right now, I am going to also say no. That may change. We're going to be asking this question every single podcast episode until it's too late to make it to the
Yeah.
playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
But as of right now, it's a no. Just because new coach situation and everything, it's going to be tough. But I'm not saying I'm already dismissing it.
Yeah, I
Whatever
mean,
could
yeah. Who
happen.
knows? Maybe whoever we end up hiring it's looking to be René Weiler, but it could be somebody different. But still, I think who knows? Like European style of play that we've been looking for, maybe could come. Who knows? It could transform the teams to something completely different than what it is now.
Yeah. I mean, I would love for DC United to prove us wrong in this scenario.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Olsen, do you want to give us a rundown of the current MLS standings as of today?
Yes. So currently in the Eastern Conference, which is DC United's conference, Philadelphia is currently at the top. I believe they are also first in the Supporters Shield, and second is FC Cincinnati, followed by Nashville, Columbus, Miami, Orlando, and New York City in the top 7. And then the play-in spots are the Red Bulls and Charlotte. And then currently teams that are out of the playoffs, Chicago, who's only 1 point behind Charlotte. They've been pretty good recently, so they can definitely make the playoffs. And then we've got the New England Revolution, Atlanta, and then us. And 13th, Atlanta and DC United are tied on points. Atlanta has the advantage from goal difference. Then 2 bottom teams, the Canadian teams, Toronto and Montreal. Those are the current teams that are in last. So I think their season's probably just as done as ours. Then would you like to hear the West side as well?
Sure, why not?
All right. You got the New Guns San Diego, currently first in the West, followed by Minnesota, Vancouver, Seattle, Portland, LAFC, and Colorado, the top 7 playoff spots. And then the 2 wildcard teams, San Jose and Austin. And then you got Houston, RSL, SKC, Dallas, and then the 2 worst teams, St. Louis and the LA Galaxy. LA Galaxy, the defending champions, off to the worst start for a defending champion in MLS history. So, but they've got 2 wins in a row against Vancouver and, fortunately, DC United. But we'll have to see if they can make a comeback this season because, I mean, they've been missing a lot of players and they've been poor. But who knows?
Yeah.
They could make a comeback.
Thank you, Olsen, for that MLS rundown. Because this is our first episode, I'm going to give you a quick rundown on how the shows are going to work. It's just going to work just like that. It's going to start off with our intro to the episode, kind of a breakdown of the recent match overview, where we'll have our player of the match brought to you by DC United Latest. And then we'll have our ratings for the match that we played. If there's multiple matches, we'll do multiple matches. Then we're going to go through with some transfer rumors, any new signings, and any news sort of that's going on within the week of DC United. And then we're going to go on to one of my favorite sections. I don't know if it's your favorite, but the United Chat, where we get to connect with you guys. I think Olsen, I can speak for Olsen and I, that we'd love to hear what you guys think and have any questions, and we'd love to answer them for you to the best of our abilities.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep, and then we'll end the show with the MLS rundown, just how it was, quick MLS rundown, how the teams are doing, not just DC United, but any other MLS team.
See how the league's looking.
Yeah, see how the league's looking. But that is going to do it for this week's episode of United Weekly. Thank you for tuning in to our very first episode of United Weekly. Thank you so much for listening. If you like what you heard, make sure to follow us on all of our socials. We have our Instagram. Our Instagram is at DC United Latest. Please go ahead and check us out on Instagram. If you guys want the latest and fastest news of anything having to do with the black and red, it is going to be on that Instagram page. We'll talk about it every Wednesday. This episode will come out, and that we'll talk about mostly the stuff that's been posted on the Instagram will be on this podcast. You'll just hear more of our opinions and more in depth of it. Also, if you're watching on YouTube, please like this video, comment, hit the notification bell, and subscribe to our channel. We'd greatly appreciate that. As well as check our merch store, our DC United Latest merch store. It is going to be in the link in bio of this YouTube on the YouTube video. It will be. And if you're listening on Spotify, go ahead and check out our Instagram. It's also going to be on that link too. We'll be back Wednesday. We'll see you guys back Wednesday with more reactions, news, and more questions from you guys. So thank you so much. Olsen, do you have anything to say?
Just thank you, everybody who's watched this far. We really appreciate it. Yeah, we've been very excited to get this out for you again. Like we said at the beginning, we worked very hard.
Yeah, we worked really hard, and we really hope you guys enjoy it. We're obviously, like Olsen said earlier in the episode, we are learning as we go. So we want to make this podcast as best as possible for you guys, because we want you guys to have that sort of community where you guys can we can talk about DC United and stuff. So that's it for everybody. Thank you again for everything, and vamos United.